Clanker is an agent that makes deploying a meme coin as simple as posting a meme. We started on Farcaster, and since then, Clanker has expanded through a bunch of different interfaces. And today is kind of just like a standard way to create a coin with a built-in rewards model, network of founders, builders, traders, and also, with us, we're a very opinionated launchpad. We back winners, and we want to be aligned with our projects.
How is it different than other launchpads that people might be familiar with, like Pump.Fun, for example?
I think the biggest difference is just our basic fee model. Pump's fee model is optimized to win from churn, from like the constant churn of coins being created, getting volume at lower market caps and failing. Whereas we've made far more money from coins that have performed at higher market caps for longer. And so we have incentive to help projects do better, help projects aim higher and achieve more. And so we've spent a lot of time just like working with founders to, figure out how we can do that.
Something, show me the incentive.
Show me the money for the winning projects. We only win if other people win.
Yo. Grab your headphones, get ready to vibe. ZEROPOD is coming at you when we're doing it live. ZEROPOD, yo. I said ZEROPOD, yo. ZEROPOD.
Welcome back to another episode of ZeroPod, a zero copyright video podcast for people who enjoy Ethereum. I'm Toady Hawk, and this week I was joined by my amazing mustachioed co-host, Mr. JackWyldes, as we had an interesting conversation with Proxy and Dish, the two indomitable founders of the little AI agent token launcher called Clanker that has been taking the world by storm over the past couple months. Now, this pod is structured a little differently than most because Jack and I actually sat down with the clankers-in-chief on two separate occasions, a couple weeks apart. In between, the guys hosted a hackathon in Boston called ClankHack, where many builders from their burgeoning ecosystem gathered to build together for a weekend, and our very own Jack was fortunate enough to attend and document the whole thing. More on that coming down the line. Anyway, we've edited these two parts into a single podcast for your enjoyment, with a hinge in the middle, separating the pre-Clankhack and the post-clank-hack eras. Jack and I had a real blast digging in to get the raw Clanker story for you on this one. I hope you'll enjoy the conversation as much as we did. So grab a tall glass of milk and a fresh can of spinach and strap in for the Clank Pod. Let go. Well, let's jump into it then, because I know I saw you posted your call list from your schedule on socials earlier, and it looked pretty packed. So we don't want to take up too much of your time.
Yeah, and guys, I just want to say, like, if we need to schedule another half hour, no problem.
Yeah, let's see where we get to, and then we'll go from
Sounds
there.
good.
Maybe we can have a sequel in the future. Leave it as a cliffhanger, but. So you guys have watched, I'm sure, ZeroPod before, so you probably know that we like to take a kind of a personal tact and hear a little bit about, people's stories. It's a little bit different, obviously, in this case, because Alex, you're not doxxed fully. I wanted to ask before we get into it, is it okay if I call you Alex during the pod, or would you prefer Proxy?
Alex is great.
Okay,
Proxy
cool.
also is great. Whatever you feel.
A man of many hats. I love it. And, by the way, Alex, no babies in the room this time either. So
I miss them. I wish they were here, but
the last time we chatted, my wife was like running late, coming home from an appointment, so I had like 2-year-old beside me and my 3-month-old on the other side. It was
a vocal crowd.
Yeah. Anyway, they're usually good, I swear. But yeah, so I wanted to ask you guys if you could share as much as you're comfortable sharing about your personal stories without, obviously doxing yourself, Alex, but I'd love to hear just about a little bit about your journeys and how you guys got into crypto, if you could each take a minute to answer that. Let's start with you, Alex, and I know that you're not fully doxed, so maybe if you could just tell us a little bit about your journey from Proxy forward.
Yeah, I started Proxy Studio earlier this year, and I've been really interested in crypto for a long time. Have had some experience working in the space, nothing as big as Clanker. And, when I found myself on Farcaster, I feel like I was at a bit of a turning point in life where I had been, doing a bunch of different things, kind of trying to find my career, my passion. And I feel really lucky to have landed on Farcaster, such a experimental environment. And I started a Hypersub community called Proxy Studio. Hypersub is a subscription token platform, protocol. And that was a community that traded, we experimented, we had a bunch of people who were already founders in Farcaster, people like Toady, and all of those people really just like gave me the flexibility and funding to build this year. And that's what we did. And we built a huge amount of stuff. I helped, other people build stuff. And I feel like I just learned a huge amount. And, during that year, I got to meet people like Jack. And Jack and I met completely organically on Farcaster. Jack had built out a crowdfunding frame to raise money for a relative with cancer. And I just happened to see it and I donated. And the award for winning for donating, there was a raffle and the award was a boat trip. And I ended up being the only person who showed up on the boat trip that day. And Jack and I happen to live somewhat close right now, and we just talked about building, and that is kind of how I wound my way to Clanker. There's a lot of details to cover, but Farcaster embraced a totally unknown founder yapping about projects, and I feel super lucky to have found that network.
Yeah, I love that. Jack, maybe if you could pick up where he left off.
Sure. Yeah, I'll put on, one other important note there. Like at the end of the boat ride, he was like, let's make some money. And we were like, all right, let's do it. And I was like, all right, whatever. This guy's just, of course, like everyone wants to make money. So we started, what was it? Yeah, maybe a couple weeks later, we started working in person, and we were just like doing some experiments, kind of not really related to like autonomous agents at all. But then we like kind of put that other project on pause, and we were like, all right, like let's just ship this we can it's like a rogue agent, we lose its keys and it goes crazy.
It was called Rogue Agent, and briefly, like the idea was that we would have an agent that did some stuff, and then the agent would go rogue, and we would either manufacture or actually have the agent like do some potentially bad things. We wanted to manufacture an exciting experience, but
was this inspired by Aether at all? Like what was happening with Aether at the time?
Super inspired. Yeah. I mean, for me at least, like Ethernet was the first agent that I saw and interacted with and wasn't like, this is so dumb. And
yeah.
I also
it's
thought
like, we just got rid of all these bots. Now we're inviting them back in.
So true.
Jack, sorry to interrupt you, Jack, but one thing about building with Jack is Jack ships really fast. And so like we were working on this other project. It kind of, required us building out a basic agent framework, required doing some stuff on chain. Mind you, we were in my mom's office together while building Clanker over 5 days. And so we're just like sitting at a desk, kind of shipping and iterating. And eventually, Jack says, okay, the agent's up. And it was in a account. And we started deploying test coins. And you can see that week, all the names are all like Salami or Banana 3.
You can tell like, it was like around lunch when like it was good to go. I was just so hungry.
Hey, Jack needs to eat regularly or he gets tired and grumpy.
Yeah,
I learned that.
This is the alpha that people tune into ZeroPod for.
Exactly. And at that point, I went home that night and I thought, Man, I think that Rogue Agent might be a little hard to build. We don't really, we're going to have to lie to people. We are going to have to manufacture an event. But we just built a launch pad, and it's kind of different and pretty unique. And we decided that night to ship just basically what we'd already built, and Jack built a front end for it in 2 days.
From the tech side, like it was basically like just the bare bones minimum of what we needed, and like it was definitely not meant to be like a launch pad at first, but then it just like naturally progressed into one. And um, but yeah, no, it was definitely like something that was not the original plan. People are like, oh, like did you pivot? Or we're like, no, we kind of just like we were just kind of like fucking around, and we found out that people like it. And it's kind of crazy like that. But yeah, basically just like we got the MVP of like what we needed the bot to do, and then yeah, we just let it free, and kind of the opposite of what we intended for it to do. In the sense of like having it be rogue, but at the same time, it's just like super simple. It's like a tool basically. So yeah.
Yeah, it was also the opposite than what we expected because people used it. Um, I don't know if you guys have been on Farcaster all year, but Toady, I know you have. I I think I didn't know how to even imagine people using our product really, like a lot of people. No, this isn't shade to Farcaster, but I was quite used to tracking 30 daily active users on stuff that the studio was shipping, and uh, Jack and I have a screenshot of or a picture of a whiteboard, and on the whiteboard that week I wrote, I kind of gamed out math for what we'd earn if we got $40,000 of volume across 10 tokens, and that was our goal. We said if that happens, we'll have made enough money that this was worthwhile for us.
All right, pack it up. We're good.
We're too deep now. I don't wish we could at all. I love this journey. It doesn't even feel like work, but like we're too deep in the trenches now. So there's no turning back. But yeah, I was just gonna say like to Alex's point, like at least for me, like I quit my full-time job in July, and it was just like hacking on random projects that no one ever used. So like this is kind of like the first time people like have actually used my product like outside of like a corporate setting, which has been super cool, and like just yeah, I think that's like kind of why everyone builds shit, just to like have people use it, and it's really it feels great.
We had Sloke from Anoncast on the podcast last episode, actually, and that's what he said too. He's like, "Yeah, the token price is whatever, it's fine, but like having Vitalik use your app and like seeing people super excited about using your app every day, like that's why you wake up, right?"
Yeah.
That's what it's
I
all
don't know
about.
if Vitalik has used Clanker yet. We haven't confirmed that, but soon.
I think I think we can build a product that involves coins that Vitalik would use. I don't think we necessarily have yet, but I think we will.
I mean, he bought a Clanker, he bought an on, so I mean,
So cool.
That's like kind of by affiliation.
So you did kind of answer one of my questions, the original thesis for Clanker, which wasn't quite it. But let's just explain Clanker real fast as a breakdown right now, what your thesis is now for it, what you think Clanker is.
Yeah. Well, I had a couple theses about social and trading. I think the big one that informed Clanker was that meme coins should come from where people post memes. It doesn't make sense that people are going to financial applications to take time, stop, think like, what coin should I make? They're looking at charts, they're looking at all this like token data, and then they're making a coin. That just doesn't make.
You can't force that, right? They're trying to force culture in those.
People are trying to force culture. You're trying to force a meme. It's not actually a meme. There's no memetics usually prior to token launch. Whereas with Clanker, kind of in my mind, you could just post a meme. It could be a meme, and it could become a coin as well. That was one. Another thesis was that agents essentially abstract away some really complicated financial stuff. especially on chain. So in Clanker's case, I think this has been mostly true about Uniswap v3 LP rewards. And there's a lot of other things that I believe, but I think those two pieces have been a huge part of Clanker's success. The fact that it's in the feed, it's social inherently, and the fact that these rewards are now accessible to an artist who doesn't know anything about DeFi, to communities can build around them.
Shout out Jadoopy. Is that a?
Yeah, shout out for
Yeah,
Jack. Dude.
yawn.
You're our stupidest coin. And companies or founders are now building on top of Clanker, and they're monetizing their product, and they're earning significant revenue. Small scale stuff, but still like significant. And that to me is the sign, the biggest signal to keep going. So Clanker is an autonomous agent that deploys meme coins. Right now, Clanker deploys meme coins on Farcaster. We also have interface partners that deploy meme coins on applications, on Twitter, and through other agents. Clanker is an ecosystem. It's an app. It's something a little bit less than a protocol. It's kind of a weird project, but we're taking a studio approach, and we're thinking about Clanker's ecosystem as a protocol might, even though we really haven't built a full protocol yet.
So from my side, I really like to tell people's personal stories or like their emotional journeys and how things change that way. So I was kind of wondering that first couple of days, you guys started talking about it. You're like, we thought $40,000 or whatever, that would be a success. And I remember a tweet early on, or sorry, not a tweet, a cast early on that you said like, there's a lot of money coming in right now. We need to take a weekend or whatever and figure out what to do with this. I just wanted you to take me through the first 3 days where you guys are like, holy, we are changing something here. Like, what kind of a ride was that?
Stress, man.
So crazy. Yeah. It was
Ultimate
so fun.
stress.
It was so
stressful. I thought we were going to jail, honestly. I was like, we're screwed. No, but mainly just because like so many people were like asking us about like the fees, and like it was just like kind of, I was not super familiar with like DeFi or like the Uniswap V3 pools. We didn't have fee claiming set up. And there was just a lot of like pressure on us to execute after we got this traction. So like from the dev perspective, I was like, I got to make sure that like the database is good. There's like, I have to worry about, like hackers or like bad actors like spamming my my API and all this, all these kind of like edge cases that I was kind of like thinking about like as I was coding it, but I had to go like immediately in like that night that we launched it and do a bunch of just like error handling fixes like just on the fly. And I said this on was the purple pod with Jake. It's like you're building the ladder as you're climbing it.
Oh, guys, that is interesting. You know what else is? Meme coins. I hear even the president has one these days. But how do you make one? Let me tell you about Clanker, the AI agent that wants to turn your dreams into memes. Tag it on the Farcaster network with a token name, a ticker, and a thumbnail, and within seconds, you'll have a meme coin deployed on the base network. I even clanked my mustache. So what will you clank up next? Check out more at clanker.world, or if you're not on Farcaster, clank.fun. Enjoy the rest of the show.
So like super stressful, but at the same time, like it was awesome. Like I wouldn't change a thing. And yeah, Alex was definitely like calming me down, which was great because he was like, dude, like everything's going to be fine. We're good. And yeah, so a lot.
Now, mind you, Alex didn't even believe that himself, but it's important that he told you.
Yeah. I'm scrolling back through our texts from launch day to try to see if I can read anything out loud. Okay, on Friday, November 8th at 7:18 p.m., I texted Jack a long text. I said, first of all, wait, I gotta go further back. Hold on, give me a moment. I mean, let's say this: Friday at Friday at like 5 p.m. and I think we launched sometime, early in the afternoon. I knew I had lunch with Grin. Shout out Grin. He's an advisor. And, a normal lunch, Grin and I were talking honestly about like where I had failed this entire year, like what I had not
Ouch.
succeeded at. No, in a good way. Just like,
Yeah.
like how do you actually succeed? You got to talk about how you fail. And then Jack was working, he was getting the front end ready, and I went home, we went live. And immediately after we were live, Jack and I are updating things. Like just reading this thread, we shipped small changes right away. We had to change token supply. We immediately started noticing these sniper issues. We were turning the bot on and off. And then by 5 p.m., I'm texting Jack, about some link that's broken. And then I say, dude, this went perfectly. Let's raise. He said, let's do it. Okay, just got back. And then at 7 p.m., I'm texting him about the UI. I'm saying UI matters more than I thought. Let's get, sorting on the coins. And then I'm like, DWR wants swaps in client. I'm immediately people were reaching out to us. Dan and Merkel were talking about, some of their goals for Warpcast. I said, Clanker will need to get smarter. Memory and context feels important. Making clanking where people can easily get a contract address or a link to a token page. Right now, the fee claiming is all manual. I had no idea, like, how much of our time would be spent on that. Anyway, this is all just to say that, like, for me, the launch experience was pretty immediately. I knew that it was way bigger than we had thought. And like, just the kind of like scale of responses to our launch post blew me away. I think that feeling expanded over the next few weeks, but that weekend was incredible because Jack was looking for a job at this time. Jack had interviewed at the biggest company in our little neck of the woods and another great project. And I wanted him to get those jobs, right? Like, Jack's awesome. I want him to be able to pay rent. But I didn't want him to get them because I wanted him to be my co-founder. And
Jack wanted a job, and Alex was like, hold my beer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I just felt immediately really lucky that I just knew we were going to have a chance to own our own destiny a little bit, or I started to learn it. It wasn't immediate, really. Like they say, people always talk about when your life changes. I feel like Clanker changed my life, but I'm still the same dumb guy. And like, the funny thing is our first reaction was let's raise. And we immediately started getting inbound from VCs and talking to them. And we haven't announced this, but maybe ZeroPod will leak it. But we've turned down several, investment term sheets. Like right now, we're not going to raise. And I think the biggest reason is just we've earned our own seed round. We've earned the 4 million of ETH or whatever that we would have needed to get investors to give us. And now we get to figure out what comes next. And that has been an amazing feeling.
And we've got no boss now.
Yeah, no boss. That's awesome. Can you talk about that in context of Farcaster? Because I feel like Farcaster is a big part of what enabled that to ever happen.
I have a call in 2 minutes, but I mean, man, first of all, Farcaster is an incredible network. It gets a lot of shit, I think, for how like small it is, how, people talk about the low daily active users. My experience of Farcaster definitely involved that, but it also just involved such a strong network. Like Jack and I were both kind of obsessed with the tech. I feel like Jack is one of the biggest Farcaster nerds, low-key. He was building frames all year. He's super inspired by the open social graph. And for me, it was this experience of building a network where people expected more of me. They expected that like I would follow through, and I wanted to because of that. They also, people on Farcaster are super creative about how to get funding. Degen, huge, huge for funding my work this year. Like tips, I use tips to bootstrap Hypersub.
When you look back at some of those tips, Alex, like that you received last year, it's nuts.
I sold my first tip airdrop for 0.25 ETH, and if I hadn't sold it, it would have been worth like 30K almost immediately. But I needed the 0.25 ETH. It was a meaningful amount of money for me to continue working on what I was doing, and no regrets.
You guys have also kind of like made this blueprint for a new way to self-fund, because you launched Clanker, as part of this project, and then people have followed suit, and you've got people like Clankermon and Native and all of these great projects that are actually sort of taking a page from your book and like making these pure play meme coins that are now able to fund real projects, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of like the utility comes after the launch, and yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like I wish I could, launch something on one of my projects that no one used, because A, I think it gets attention because of the price. And B, like people are, they gravitate towards, novel use cases of it. And even if it's just like an experiment, right? Or just like trying something out. Yeah, I think it's super powerful. And I just wanted to touch on the Farcaster thing, because I think there's two sides to it on the same pro side. But the first is the tech, right? This would not be possible on Twitter, because A, there's no embedded accounts, whether it's Solana or Ethereum. So immediately, like we have that place to distribute the funds to. And then B, I think it's just like the people too. Like it's very like why not like like investment focused, but like a lot of smart builders are gravitating towards here. So they, I think it's like people are willing to try stuff out here more. So yeah, I think it's kind of like a blend where
it's kind of nuts when people are saying like, "Oh, Farcaster's dying," and then it's like you look at that list of coins that was going around yesterday on the Bird app, and it's like 15 coins that have all done really well from when they started. And if you were on Farcaster, you had the opportunity to invest in them early if you wanted, and they're all building and they're all like shipping shit. Like you just don't see that anywhere else, really. I don't think.
totally. Yeah, I think there's definitely like so many benefits to being here, even like outside of like, just low FID, but the networking, I think is one of the most valuable too, aside from, the getting the alpha early. And yeah, I think it's, yeah, definitely an advantage here. I don't see why anyone would not be here. Um, I was gonna this is kind of related to like how I got into like blockchain too. I was banned from Facebook. I was beefing with my grandma's friend. Um, this was like it was like 2019, like 2020, COVID. I wasn't saying anything crazy. I feel like old people kind of do that, but anyways, yeah. So like I got locked out of like my Spotify and all of those like sign in with Facebook, like apps. So yeah, I was screwed there, and I was like, "Oh, this sucks. There's got to be a better way." And then the whole Robinhood thing, where like GameStop, all that. So I was like, "All right, there's got to be something else." And then I just like went deep, and the rest is history.
Oh, that's not. I think my papa's been kicked off of Facebook 5 times, and if it finally stuck. But yeah, he really likes beefing with people on there, and I'm like, all right, whatever, dude. You got to do you.
Just
So
take
you
it,
can.
take
So
it
what
to
you're
the
saying
hubs.
is, yeah, exactly. If you want to beef, you got to come on Farcaster and beef with the
That's the
social
Yeah.
graph.
next stage, because then you don't lose your Spotify. No, I didn't ever think about that. If you get booked out of those accounts and you've got that sign up for everything, I mean, just another use case. I really love something that you said. It's like this ship first mentality, and I think it's kind of happening to me currently. I think it's happened to a lot of builders in the space. You guys like built it and you thought, okay, well, you got funded through alternative methods through Farcaster, tipping, things like that, and you were able to kind of get the ship rolling, and you put it out, and then you were like, oh my god, everybody's using this, we got to start building and iterating. And you just said a second ago, like, a whole bunch of people are shipping, they're getting people excited over the price of a coin, but they don't even have the product yet, right? You're believing in the builder. So as a good builder or creator, you could maybe get that funding that you were looking for to create the dream product you were trying to build in the first place. It's so sick, and it gets me so pumped up right now that
and from the volume too, like they
yeah.
don't even have to dump on their communities. Like
Seriously,
they don't have to, just
best
the
part.
volume.
And even like people don't realize this, but like some people do, but like you get your own coin through the reward fees too. So like you don't even have to buy your own like coin. It's not necessary to accumulate a solid amount. But I see how, kind of people do that. And but yeah, it's like it's really like taking out the accredited investor. You don't have to be, a blue chip VC firm to invest in, like Clankermon or Native or, some of these apps that could really be, the change the game.
I feel like there's a meme there, like a Gadoopy meme. It's like, I'm an accredited investor.
So, yeah. Seriously, yeah. Like they're gonna do all their due diligence rather than just like, following the good, the good meme artists or things like that.
oh man, it's awesome. It's so cool. Like, think of it from any aspect. As a video creator, the way I think about it is like that could literally fund 3 videos right there, just from one thing. You're like, okay, you guys want to see more stuff. You believe in this content creator. You believe in this person creating art or developing things. Like, it's so rad how I think it honestly is a game changer completely in the way that people are going to get funding. And it's just a lot bigger than we might even realize right now.
I feel like that's the best part about it. Where like we don't even know what the killer use case is going to be yet. Like it could be anything, and as long as like you can really just like experiment with whatever you want to do with your coin, or no matter how it goes. Like even if it's just like my girlfriend, she dropped meat sweats, where it's just like a picture of me eating like a roast beef sandwich, and because like I was just trying to explain to her like what this was. And I was just like, the best way to do it is just to try it. And she was just like, is this legal? Like, how did I just get $500? And I'm like, I don't know, but
any such cases, yeah. Don't start the car.
yeah.
Yeah, I've been onboarding my wife to Farcaster too, and like, yeah, many similar questions come up. It's like, where is this from? Like, actually, Proxy, gave like a 0.5 ETH like welcome present to my wife when I onboarded her. She's like, why did someone send me $350? Why would someone do that? I'm like,
Yo, Alex, bro, what's he doing like that? Paying your wife?
That's right.
I think he did pay my he bought the meat sweats, which was good, but yeah, but now she's like, why did people stop buying my coin? And I'm like,
yeah,
you got to do something with it.
Life
and
lessons.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Dev, do something, baby.
Seriously. Like, I'm not going to help you out. I mean, maybe, but
in all seriousness though, this always like comes back or reminds me of a tweet or a cast. I can't remember where it was that Jacob from Zora said, eventually they'll just call them memes. And he's talking about meme coins. He's like, eventually just all memes will be tokenized. And I feel like Clanker is like, in your own way, you've 10x'd that, whatever that process was where all memes were becoming coins. You guys are just like accelerated it by 10x, because that's something that Jack and I were talking about before we jumped on this call, is like, what did you call it, Jack? Like tokenizing moments or something?
Yeah, you're tokenizing an instant. So like in one instant, one moment, one thing that happened that kind of got the zeitgeist moving can be like that turned into value, or for some, for anybody, for everybody. Yeah, so you can tokenize an instant.
And if it doesn't, then maybe your meme wasn't that good. It's like instant reflection of the quality in a way.
I don't like, because people have done this in the past though, where it's like you can like tokenize a tweet, right? Where like you can mint it as an NFT, and like I feel like that was one of like the first starts of it, but I really think that the magic behind like the Clanker flywheel is just like in feed and also for free. Like you don't have to pay for it. You don't need a dev. That's just, I feel like that's kind of like what was the difference. But like everyone around us was like so close, and like everyone was kind of thinking the same way. It's just like we happen to put like things together.
Also, ERC20s have like a superpower that a lot of people, myself included, have been made like very well aware of in this cycle. Like I came into the cycle in 2021 with NFTs, got super involved with Nouns, which is obviously an NFT project, although we do have an ERC20 as well. But one thing that ERC20s do that NFTs don't do is this like mega distribution thing that ERC20s are able to do. It's like their superpower. So when you talk about what's his name, Jack Dorsey's tweet, which is one of the famous ones, it was like, hey, I'm just setting up my Twitter or whatever it was. That tweet like sold for this crazy amount during NFT season in 2021, and then precipitously went to zero thereafter because there's no promise of number go up. Like there's just no distribution. You can't all own it. There's no fractionalization. So I think that's like the big unlock, is that like if Jack had his first cast now, you could make that a clanker and it would go to 10 billion immediately, maybe, I don't know. But the point is like everybody could have a piece along the way.
I used to think that like ERC20s were like a step back in technology versus like the N721s, but now that I think of it, it's like it's kind of like, since we're doing the single-sided LP, right? Like you don't need a seller. Like you don't need to list it on, marketplace and have someone buy it for you to get like the value returned. It's like instantaneously just swap it out. And I think that in a sense is even very powerful in itself, where it's like, it's more instantaneous, I'd say. And yeah, the fractionalization is cool, where you don't have to have, 30 ETH to have an ape or something. Like you can have, however much you can afford to. The entry level is more attainable for the same piece.
Are you guys kind of stoked that you did happen to be Farcaster first, base first this type of thing, people? Because I imagine this going off on Twitter, and just because there's so many more people there, like how wild might that have, like, is this the best place for it to have started? Like, was this the community that needed to run it?
There's more people, but fewer wallets. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, true.
It would not have been possible for in Twitter. A couple of reasons why. I think the first is the API, right? Like it's just like you got to pay to play. I think Nanar is awesome. But yeah, like just the Twitter API is super limited, your rate limited, and that sucks. And then I think also it's just like the ability for I think it would be too big if we put it on Twitter. I think like it's the distribution there would be like almost like just like casting into the void, and no one would pick it up. But here it's like people knew Alex. People didn't, I wasn't like influencer or anything. So like I was like unknown, but Alex, like he knows how to market, and like he knew how to like introduce it to everyone. And so like in that sense, like we have like social I guess like Alex mainly, he has like social capital that he's, accumulated throughout his time here. And like that was able to kind of like be like the backing behind it. Like him being able to be anonymous and launch this and have gained the trust is like speaks total crazy volume to like the amount of like ethics that he has behind his work. And that was a super important part to me, where like, if I'm finding like if I'm going to be a co-founder, like we got to have shared values. So
if you're going to jail, then you want to go to jail with someone that you agree with. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, it was like the first thing we did. I was like, we need a lawyer like tomorrow. And it was good. Honestly, like that's like another part of it too, where it's like, I think a lot of it's like timing too. Like this was like right after like the US election, and we did not plan it like that at all. Like we weren't planning the release, but like, I think it was just like people were willing to take a little bit more risks and, be a little bit more adventurous as to like what's possible, and, not saying, anyways.
Is that what you said to your girlfriend? You're like, no, you won't go to jail, honey. Trump won.
I was like, damn, like, there's something to be, light and all of that, So, but yeah, no, it was definitely, I think it's just like timing. I feel like it's like all that stuff. So it's crazy. Like, I don't know, still so much work to do, but like looking back, like it's been a ride.
On a personal level for you, you were saying, Alex had already built up some previous social capital, but you were still like working on that yourself. And now you're going to get that in spades. It's going to be coming like crazy. Is that a scary thing for you? Or are you excited about that? Is it something that you wanted, or are you kind of like, oh, damn, this is not this is a side effect I didn't expect or was hoping for?
I think it's like it was definitely like a little shock to begin with. Like people were making like coins off of my dead dog, and like they made like Jack with hat, and I was
Don't
like,
do
damn,
that.
like
Don't do that, guys.
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, whatever, it comes with the space, but I was like, wow, this is kind of crazy. But I don't know. I feel like it's kind of chill. I'm trying to like definitely like get like thicker skin in terms of like not taking feedback like to heart, and like yeah, just I'd say like just yeah, trying to still be the same person and not like bait into the trolls and stuff like that, and yeah, just thicker skin, I'd say.
I was just telling other Jack, about that in this call before when he was talking about people being a dick to him about nice mustache, very based. And I was like, bro, you just have to tell them, like, either ignore them or just like, openly mock them. It's just like you're not responsible for their investment decisions, terrible as they may be sometimes, like.
Totally. Yeah, it's like if you don't have haters, you're not doing something right, or like you're not risking it enough. So
Well, if they were buying to support Jack and the work that he made, then they wouldn't be in his DMs being like, "Fuck you, asshole," when when price didn't go up as fast as they thought, right? Anyway.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, it's, yeah, it's so crazy to me. I, I think it is kind of a thing though that you're asking for if you do use a clanker. I think people need to understand that when tokenizing a moment, when tokenizing whatever they feel like. Some people were really good at dropping them and bailing, and like just like it didn't seem like it was all on that person. But if you try to launch something and you use clanker and you put your name behind it at all, you're instantly a dev somehow. Like it doesn't you could be I'm not saying like the technical side, but you're instantly that person, and so you're going to start to take on all of that. And I think that's it's something that people like need to just understand, maybe when dropping it, or the mindset has to shift totally as to what a clanker token actually is.
I think the mind first of all, I think the way people think about it is changing a little bit already. I think that is happening. The viewpoints are changing on what a token is and what's tokenizable, etc., and what a dev is, etc. But I also think, like, how can I put this? Like, back in 2021, if you launched a token, you really were like on the hook for it because people really thought of tokens as being projects. But if tokens are memes now, people do need to reconceptualize what that means, And so, I think transparency is really important. Like, if you're going to be someone like Derek that says native is the token that I'm going to use to integrate into this app, now you're buying a utility token for something that he's actually building. And if you're buying nice mustache very based and you thought it was going to be like the next S&P 500, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it was clearly a meme, and if you bought it to support a creator, then you were doing the right thing. And if you bought it to get rich and you didn't, then that's not really anyone's problem. And I think that just comes over time.
yeah, I think another like to your point about like being the dev, it's like now like your FID is on chain, like you're the creator, and there's almost something to be said about like launching your first clanker, and like you're remembering like your first clank. Like I still haven't had my first clank, and it's like I'm probably just gonna save it for a special moment for the
you want to
right.
remember your first clank fondly,
Yeah, I don't want to just give away my clank card like that. So it's something. Yeah,
your C card, is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Talking to a friend, he was like, man, I launched like the 6th one and the 8th one, and like at the time nobody still really understood it yet, like it was still kind of new, and he's like, I wish I would have waited so bad. like I ruined it. I just blew it early, and now I have like 5 or 6 of them, and they're just never did anything. It's like, yep,
Yeah, I think it's
clanker hoe.
yeah. Yeah, what's your clank count?
Yeah, dude, your clank
Your
count is
clanker
way
count.
too high. Yeah, I'm not trusting that.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy? Like, I think the snipers have kind of caught on to that, and they're like, oh, like someone that released like 30 plus, like I'm not buying that. You know, it's like they're more selective about it now, about like follower count, things like that. Like the whole like social score thing is super unique.
How sad is it that the snipers even are sometimes like, I don't know, I don't even want to make
Yeah. This is such a bad click that snipers aren't even buying it.
Yeah, I don't even want to extract value from you, to be honest with you. Worst.
Yeah, that's tough.
Maybe as a final question for you, because I know you got a busy day ahead of you, can we just ask you sort of what are you most excited? What are you and Alex most excited about for the coming year for Clanker? I know you're taking it all in stride, but what are you most excited about? Any alpha you can spill maybe about what's coming down the line?
Let's see. I think we're gonna be putting out some really cool new contracts are coming with like configurable different launch mechanics. We're addressing kind of like this sniper stuff, pre-sales, things like that. So like outside of the product, like confirmed like product roadmap, we're really excited to just continue to like put out experiments just like Clanker that we just like want to cause ripples in the scene and see what sticks. And like some of them might be duds, but like we're just gonna continue to like try something out that's completely new and maybe not even related to Clanker at all. And so just kind of like messing around like that, and outside of like kind of what we're gonna put out, just like excited to see what other people can kind of like spin up and put out and make themselves.
When you say you've got other things sort of coming down the pipe, are they like agentic? Are they like AI related? Or are they maybe completely separate altogether?
Yeah, without giving out like the surprise, yeah, it's definitely going to be something that you can talk to. But I think the one like something that we're working on, not to give it away, but like it's going to like flip everything upside down. And it'll be interesting, and it's not going to be like platform specific, I'd say.
Okay. So turn noties on is what you're saying.
Yeah. I will say, yeah. But yeah, you guys will be the first to know, or whatever.
Nice.
I love it. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. Jack, did you have anything else to ask other Jack?
Yeah, Jack, I just want to say thank you so much. Thanks for being based. Thanks for building this. Thanks for coming on and spending the time to talk to us, because that's awesome. I'm glad I got to know you a little bit, and look forward to following everything you're doing moving forward. And I also really appreciate that you guys are like sharing the creators on, who are using this. Like you guys are really supportive of the people building. So just keep being awesome.
Thanks for having me on, and yeah, I'd love to maybe one day grab a beer or coffee or something together in person.
Well, if you're going to be at FarCon New York, I think Alex already pimped you out and said you would have a beer while he sits over in the corner and
exactly.
And on creepily.
Yeah, he'll be in cloak or whatever, hooded up. But yeah, no, excited for it.
Love it.
Awesome.
All right, thanks so much for having me on, guys.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
coming.
See ya.
We'll clank you on chain soon or something.
Clank on. Talk to you.
2 weeks later.
We're also trying to figure out like what questions we already asked you and which ones we didn't. This is going to be an interesting one.
I think, one note from the last time is I feel like we didn't provide that basic, simple context about like what Clanker is, and
Okay.
I want to just like make sure we get that. And then I think, it can just be a fun conversation between friends. Like, it doesn't need to be comprehensive.
Well, Jack and I were talking this morning, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to basically have it be like a podcast in 2 parts, even though it will just be released once as one episode. But because we're all wearing different clothes, and like we're not going to try to pretend that it happened all at once. So Jack had a good idea that we'll kind of talk about it like pre-Clankhack and post-Clankhack. And so maybe we'll ask a little bit about how things have changed. Also the leader of the free world launched a meme coin since then, so we could talk about that, etc.
Totally. That sounds great.
I actually do think you did a pretty good job of explaining what
Okay.
Clanker is, but you can do it again, and then if it's better, we can
Well,
use
maybe
that.
I'm just conflating different interviews in my brain.
Maybe, yeah.
So I trust you guys.
But no, it doesn't hurt for us to sort of ask the question again, and you just tell us like in your simplest explanation. In fact, we can do it right off the top if you and
Yeah.
or Jack want to tell us like what the hell is Clanker for people who don't know.
Clanker is an agent that makes deploying a meme coin as simple as posting a meme. We started on Farcaster, and since then, Clanker has expanded through a bunch of different interfaces, and today is kind of just like a standard way to create a coin with a built-in rewards model, network of founders, builders, traders, and also, with us. So we're a very opinionated launchpad. We back winners, and we want to be aligned with our projects.
How is it different than other launchpads that people might be familiar with, like Pump.Fun, for example?
I think the biggest difference is just our basic fee model. Pump's fee model is optimized to win from churn, from like the constant churn of coins being created, getting volume at lower market caps and failing. Whereas we've made far more money from coins that have performed at higher market caps for longer. And so we have incentive to help projects do better, help projects aim higher and achieve more. And so we've spent a lot of time just like working with founders to, figure out how we can do that.
Something, show me the incentive.
Yep.
Show me the money for the winning projects. We only win if other people win, which is, I think, the biggest differentiator. It's free to launch, and yeah, I think that it's really like becoming a suite of products. Not only the things that we've built, but what other people have built and contributed to this winning culture. It's really like people find a way to contribute into this open brand.
I mean, I just saw that Noun Space went live with their programmatically created token pages for clankers.
Oh wow.
And
That's
it's an incredibly like feature rich launch. We didn't ask them to do this. What we did was created enough economic incentive for people to build around our product. And we've just seen that over and over again be the best kind of motivator, like better than, free tokens. It's the chance for people to come and build businesses on top of either single coins or, Clanker as like a suite of smart contracts. So yeah, I mean, we're very early, but it's been exciting. And I think that's like what gets me out of bed in the morning is just knowing there are a bunch of, founders essentially at this point that are relying on me to deliver on promises and kind of pitches that I've made, which is to help give them better tools to win with coins in, free and open markets.
I think that's a really good point to double click on, because that's one of the things that attracted me to this industry, because it's so different when you look at like businesses in the meat space, if you want to call it that. It's always about creating moats and creating like walled gardens, and how can we keep all the value locked up inside of this castle. And then the Ethereum ethos is like the complete opposite. It's like build something good and they will come and like make it open source and make it available for other builders. And that's what you guys have done, I think, with Clanker to some extent. And it's, it pays off.
The moat is the network, like so many VCs have asked us, like, what's the moat? What's the moat? Why wouldn't someone just come and fork it? And it's like, what do you mean? Like there have been maybe 7, 8 forks of Clanker. I just noticed a brand new one. And my immediate thought was this would have slapped as an interface. And that's something that we need to tell. Like we need to be more public about how you can come and build on Clanker.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that's our vision for growing too, is that like people will actually just think that it's easier to win with Clanker than against us.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
much.
Jack and I were just talking about this before, Jack, about how we're trying to do something similar on the content side.
Yeah, I mean, I was just shooting a video where I was chugging a thing of spinach because
Let's go.
I want to partner, with other clankers. I want to work within the ecosystem so we all can rise together, and I do think that is extremely vital. I wanted to bring this up. I just saw, Jack, you guys announced launching partnership buttons at the bottom of your frame. So I mean, obviously partnerships are very important to you all. If you're willing to just be like, hey, check it out, here are the partners, here's how what would somebody want to do to like become a partner?
I think the idea of like becoming a partner is like doing something that is the same for every coin, right? Where it's like right now there's the noun space, right? Where it doesn't matter about the coin. It's a kind of a separate interface. Clank Fun, similar trading experience. We want to link out to these like post-launch utility websites or apps that people can do or interact with their network and their community more. To become a partner, like just hit us up. We'll add you. We're not trying to maximize the user time spent on Clanker World, anything like that. We want to really grow the network and the ability for people to kind of like, experiment with what they want. And if they build a product that works for these coins, we want to showcase that and highlight it. And I think that the more that list grows, the better it is for everyone.
That's maybe a good context to sort of zoom out a little bit and talk about ClankHack, because I guess in the context of this podcast, the first half that you just listened to was us talking to Jack and Alex a couple of weeks before ClankHack. And once we finished that conversation, Alex sent me and Jack an email. He was like, sorry, I had to leave. We need to talk more. We didn't get to chat enough about what's going on. So we scheduled another time to get together and talk. And now it's post ClankHack. So maybe we can use that as the anchor point. And I'd love to ask you, Alex, like, where did the idea come from for ClankHack, and what was it all about?
Man, I think ClankHack just kind of happened. It happened really naturally because we're building with a lot of people who, prior to Clanker, maybe they knew Jack's account or my account on Farcaster, but probably didn't really know who the fuck we are. And now they're building on our product and they're building with us essentially. And so ClankHack originated because Nick of Clank Fun wanted to come and spend time with Jack and myself and just, build that trust, build that personal connection and see what we could ship together. Nick's a super based and talented builder. So we were excited about this. Clank Fun is probably the best and most widely used Clanker, trading facing interface.
It's a great site. He's done a great job on it.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a great job, and it's like really with minimal resources, and it's generating revenue. It's he's bootstrapping it on top of a coin, super aligned with everything that we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And then,
coins all the way down, eh?
Exactly. From all the way down, hopefully not to zero. But, a lot of people heard about this, and people like Clankpad, Dev, McBain, Derek of Native, other people kind of working really closely with us. And we were like, hell yeah, like come on down. We'll take care of housing. And then I actually just like one night on Twitter before this had the stroke of genius, I might say, not to glaze myself, to hit up Jack and say, hey man, like, can we fly you out? Because I think it would be really high impact to create content. And he had just shared, I believe, the mustache conspiracy video,
Yeah.
which I just thought was like one of the best pieces of crypto native content I'd ever seen.
So good.
And, as it turned out, Jack's an incredible guy. And not to speak for him, but I feel like, I developed a friendship with him, just spending time, and content is such an important piece of the whole puzzle. I think it was really, so it just kind of happened. It happened very organically because of what we've built and what everyone else is building around it, Clanker.
By the way, most protocols, most products don't understand the value of content in our experience, and they don't understand the difficulty that goes into making content too. Not to glaze ourselves, but there's a huge deficiency of it in the space.
I've been saying that there's not too many devs, but the amount of content has to catch up to the amount of devs, especially in the Ethereum stuff. So
yeah, and not yappers. Like yapping's easy, but I mean like making actually quality content.
exactly. No, I'm not talking about KOLs. I'm not talking about thought leaders. I'm talking about meme gods and content, video, banter type deal. I don't know, Jack. What's the word for that? How do you
What are you
describe
Jack?
that?
Content
Yeah.
god?
I don't know. Anti-slop. I'm
Yeah.
an
Anti-slop.
anti-slop. Yeah, but I also think that I agree with you. There is that room for like kind of slop, but like creative. I don't know, just creative stuff, not just like I actually like that, Toady, what you just said, the yapping thing, because that is like the content out there right now on Twitter is just, that's it. It's just people like group tagging and I don't know. It's they're saying the same thing over and over and over again as farming. You can make like fast, sloppy content, but if it's creative and original and it evokes a feeling in somebody, then great, that's good. There should be more of that.
Like there's literally a project right now that's awarding yaps to people for yapping on Twitter. So it's like...
Yeah, I mean, great. We'll have a whole bunch more of them. So
I come from a background where I've worked in creative roles, like either producing or helping sell content, and it takes a huge amount of work to make high quality content. It takes a huge amount of work to make regular lower quality content. Just any content is hard. And the pitch we've made to creators and actually to just like founders with utility coins is that the Clanker model is based not on giving people a bunch of supply. It's based on, coins winning when they go and get attention in very competitive attention markets that are really like Web 2 markets. Like X is not a crypto platform. It's just X, like it's Twitter. And so if you're going to break through there at all, I think it's super important to have good content, good posts, to be doing all these things regularly and making your project and coin stand out from the thousands that are created.
Yeah, it's really hard to do. I mean, it's super it's a difficult task, and that is why I think that we aim to help people with that as well. Like I would like to help, and like I think Zero wants to both be a creative source for people, but also help people engage and learn to be creative themselves and start putting out things on their own, and we could even be distribution for that. So I think that is a positive thing. Something I wanted to bring something up before we got too much further on content stuff, but like, so first of all, thank you very much for letting me attend. It was incredibly awesome. I was kind of waiting for this moment to both tell you guys in like person through a screen and not text how much that meant to me, how much I really appreciated it. And I think it was extremely important for me to see the way devs were working, how hard you guys work, how in tune you are with what's going on, and how much you actually care about the people who are clanking, right now. And I can't tell you how bullish I actually am on Clanker and how much I think it is a thing to bring more and more people to base. I think it just has so much potential, but I'm not going to keep glazing. What I did want to talk about though, is while I was there, you had multiple devs in the same house, all building, all creating stuff. The speed at which everyone was shipping was incredible. And then at the same time, new people would just swing by. Just people were just piling on, just being like, "Oh, hey, what's up? I just wanted to come." And there was calls happening constant. You guys were trying to ship pre-sales at the same time. There was a billion things all happening at once. Did how? Okay, in our first conversation, you talked about not wanting to take VC money. You guys already raised. You did, but you took a lot of calls. But all these calls, you had the power.
They didn't raise from VC though, just to clarify.
Right. You raised from yourself. You bootstrapped your way up. What were your feelings like when you're getting bombarded now by all these VCs and all these people who want to be a part of you, part of this thing? But you kind of have the power now. So what's that like?
Man, it's such a like mental shift. Like it's a mindset shift. When we launched Clanker, Jack and I explicitly were building something to try to get attention and traction to then raise. And the reason that, I feel zero shame in talking about this is like Jack was applying for jobs. I was trying to pitch him on being a technical co-founder and just going further with me. Jack had no reason, like I couldn't pay him. I could pay him maybe for a few months, but that wasn't going to solve these problems. Like Jack needed a full-time job. He has an apartment, girlfriend, et cetera, et cetera. I probably, was 6 months away from thinking about similar questions. And so VC,
like getting a girlfriend.
Hey, no comment. Yeah. But like, needing to think seriously about my career and what I'd been doing for a year. But so like that happened, right? We shipped something, we got attention, VCs came knocking. And it was incredibly validating to get term sheets in my email offering us millions of dollars. And, I think like that's a perfectly viable route. But what we realized is that we basically had earned our seed round. And that means that instead of structuring our product in a way that appeals to, market or VC expectations, that rewards the same people who are typically rewarded, we could instead like work with Jack and you and reward you guys. We could make product decisions based on your needs. We could spend a lot of time in the trenches talking to our traders and users and just like shape everything around what we came from originally, which was this experimental niche, deeply faded ecosystem. And that just felt so much more natural to us. And it's fucking hard too. Like I won't say that like after ClankHack ended, I got home and I hadn't been like sleeping in my own bed because it just like made more sense to stay up late at the house working because and listen, like maybe I should have gone to bed earlier some nights, but I don't regret it at all. The work we're doing is hard. It shouldn't be easy. It shouldn't be easy to make $16 million. It's competitive. So I feel like a great deal of responsibility and that's not just about like what's happened, but what will happen.
Real quick, just to shout you out, not only was he not sleeping in his own bed, he was taking the couch so other people could have beds. Just completely,
You guys,
like, yep, all right, I'll be right. Yeah. So there was
you guys
no
slept
chance
next to
for
each other, right?
Yeah,
We did.
we snuck.
Like in-
yeah, we
like
did
in
a
a
big
pull-out
spoon,
couch?
little spoon thing.
Kyle's.
It was pretty cool.
To me, it's like some of the best conversations I had at ClankHack were with Jack and Flood, who both took the other couch on different nights. And it's like, I had 4 or 5 days with Jack, but every single time we had a longer in-depth conversation, I learned new things about him that helped me like feel that trust and responsibility that I think can be so generative. and just learn like who the fuck this guy is and like where he comes from. I could probably spend a half an hour talking about where Jack comes from on this pod. I would love to
The
do
Jack
it,
pod.
but I don't think you get that if you don't just like put in that FaceTime when you can.
Is it something that you guys are planning ClankHack to, like, what's the future of the ClankHack series then?
Oh man, good question.
I think we're down. Like,
Yeah, we're down. I think it's like ETH Denver maybe. I don't know if that'll be a clank hack, but like a clank up or something. And then
I love how you can just
Farcon,
put clank in front of everything and it works.
right?
You know?
It just works. Maybe Farcon. That's like those are like the next 2 months, right? And then
Yeah.
honestly, next time we should go somewhere warm.
yeah, I want to do a clank hack. Like, I think the thing that I was aware of is not just who was there, but who wasn't there, but wanted to be. Like, there's a huge ecosystem of people out there building on Clanker. We should make it accessible for many people. And I think there is something to be said for like getting the highest quality builders in a room. And that will probably mean like going around the world and shipping for 1 week, 2 weeks over the next year. So I think you'll see a lot more clank hacks. And we actually recently hired a guy named Moon Poppy. You might be familiar with Moon.
Oh yeah, I know Moon. Yeah.
Moon's a really good guy. He showed up very early on, very selflessly contributed. He built a lot of Dune dashboards with Tion. Shout out
Nice.
Tion. I love you. And you know, Moon is he has DevRel experience. He speaks the language of our users. He trades where they trade, and he's probably going to be an integral part of future clank hacks.
Nice. I feel like you guys should do one that's like a house in the middle of nowhere in like Ohio. No offense, Jack.
Yes.
But...
Jack, do you want to host? You want to host a clank hack?
I'll host.
We did not. We barely left the hack
Exactly.
house.
So you just like send people in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I think that like I at least needed some fresh air at some points. But I mean, like we would go days without leaving that house, and I was like, should we go like walk around and like go pick up some beers or something? Like get out of here. But yeah, no, it'd be cool. We should go on a retreat.
Yeah, you guys want a hack party leader or a little founder setup thing? Hey, call me. I'm more than down to help plan.
You'll be there. Toady will be there.
Well,
Moon.
yeah. I mean, here's the thing, though. It's like, in my mind, clank hack has a couple of ingredients that you have to make it successful. You need people from Clanker team, right? You need us represented. Our, vision and roadmap are very key to things that people are building. You need the ecosystem. So you need founders or, CTO, meme coin, trench slugs, like coming through and shipping hard. You need people
Infra
who make
guys,
content.
like Riff coming through.
You need infra guys. You need VCs coming through, which we had at ClankHack. Shout out to Accomplice for being the only VC that in person visited the ClankHack house. Made me pay way more attention to that call. So, John,
There's a lesson in there.
I respect that.
Also a great name for a VC firm, I have to say. I haven't heard of it.
They have some cool stuff, but I won't talk any more about that here. But and you need content. And so like to me, what would be really cool is to have like, Zero or you guys basically getting some kind of funding to come and create content for Clanker and the ecosystem around these events. And who knows like what this model looks like, but I just see a future where like if a coin really wants to grow to that much higher level, it needs to have more and better content. So
yeah, true. Yeah, and like Jack said earlier too, it doesn't even have to be necessarily us that create the content, although we're really good at it, but we're also really good at distribution. And we want people who are creating content that is like values aligned with what we're doing to just like lean on us for distribution and learn how to get their shit in front of people's eyeballs. Because there is actually a lot of good content that is also not getting eyeballs. We talked earlier about how there's not enough content, and that's part of the problem. But there also is like this other big section of content that is being made that's not getting seen, which is
That's
probably
such a
worst problem.
crypto situation where
Yeah.
by the time the content gets shipped, like the narrative is dead or the coin has less attention. We need to make all these things that we're doing experimentally have longevity, or we're just gonna fucking die. And
Yeah.
I think a huge part of that is going to be getting people to give a shit about the stuff they hold and give a shit about the people who who created it.
Yeah.
And to me, content's a big part of that puzzle.
I think that's right. Maybe that's a good sort of segue to talk a little bit about what's been happening in the world of crypto over the past week or so since we spoke last. Namely, you've got a new president in the U.S., Mr. Trump. Launched a meme coin 2 days before taking office, and this meme coin became a giant magnet for the hot ball of money that flies around our ecosystem. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on just that whole saga. I know, Alex, you said earlier you were actually away for the weekend. I missed a lot of it, but what are your thoughts on what's happened over the past few days?
Jack, you can talk more about your more online perspective, but I was with friends this weekend, and I saw that the coin was launched pretty shortly after. I just happened to see that, and obviously, like, this coin is going to go up a lot. I bought some. I feel like some of my initial takes were a bit more negative than some of what I've seen. I feel like a Trump meme coin being a vehicle for the same kind of short-termist speculative trading from the same group of people is like kind of the worst outcome for our industry. If this coin is not like onboarding a bunch of Americans to crypto, it's just a miss. It's just like, and so it also did force me to interact with some Solana products that I think I've been a bit like resistant to talk about this, but Solana has some clear benefits over Base right now in terms of product. Phantom is just like transacting without approvals is amazing. Meteora, which is kind of, it's like where Clanker would launch coins if we ever launch them on Sol. And it's a great UX, and Uniswap's UX has gotten worse and worse and worse. It's like they've not handled bridging and to all these different L2s.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just felt a little bit like, damn, it did seem like this turning point in our industry where things are going to become way more regulatory. Like, it'll be easy to deploy a meme coin. There'll be less fear around it. And that's bullish. But I think unless we seize the day and make our eco more fun, like any crypto product, we will become irrelevant if we don't really improve and just like go to a higher level. So
yeah, we have it. We're kind of like we're playing it on hard mode in some ways. Like I understand why Solana has better UX in some of these ways, and it's because for a myriad of reasons, but because they don't have nodes all over the world and they don't have a lot of the same, security structures that Ethereum has. And those are all great, but at the end of the day, end users don't really care that much about it until it matters to them for some reason. So we have to close that gap. I agree with you, Alex. Close it quickly. And we're almost there in a lot of ways, but like close that wallet UX gap, figure out the issue with approvals, which I know is being worked on, but like we need to do that quickly before they eat our lunch, right?
And maybe just not be so fucking greedy about launching like yet another layer 2. I think one thing about like personally deciding to build on Base is I just am bored of another L2. Like, fuck off with like, shilling me your dumb chain that you guys raised a ton of money for a couple of years ago. Like, Base is where I'm building, and I see a clear upside for us. It's like the one corner of ETH that really has maintained attention in a very competitive attention market. So
Also,
You know, yeah, go ahead, Jack.
finish your rant. Okay. Couple things here. Base I think, is super American. U.S. company, U.S. chain. I like to think of it as that. Um, that was my first point. Second point is that, like, oh yeah, so like these, like, right, like Trump launched, or Melania, like, but then like the dev allocation for that was like 60 to 80%. And bunch of rugs happen where they just sold out like a mass amount. I think it like doubled Trump's like net worth. Um, and like I think like people, you can't see that like at the Phantom wallet side. But like as people kind of like these on-chain sleuths start to like look into it more, it'll be more prevalent to see like these fair launch platforms like Clanker being that kind of that de facto where it's like, yeah, you don't have to worry about this, the devs just selling their allocation. And I think that is like the biggest kind of like threat to like the credibility. But then again, like, yeah, like I think like the credibility is something that we have to work on. The additional use cases besides like owning a coin, like what do you do next? You really can't do much on like Solana. But I think so there's like the two sides to it, right? And then yeah, like I think it's like now, right? Like at least for me as a dev, like I was concerned about like the legality of launching coins. Like it's very ambiguous as to what's right, what's wrong. I feel confident in what we're doing is the right implementation, where you actually have to pay something for every coin, even if you're the dev. Like that just makes sense to us. But now it's like, it's the Wild West out there. Like if the leader of the free world can do it, like so can you. I think it'll be like
I saw a couple posts that were like, oh, that you beat the president of the United States beat MetaMask and OpenSea to launching a token. Like, how did that happen?
Well, yeah, I mean, I do think that the market, it clearly wants two things. Either coins that are just like so undeniable because of who is behind them. So I think of this as like a reputation coin, kind of. That's a Trump coin, or the Iggy Azalea, like celeb coin meta stuff that happened.
Yeah.
And then the other side of that is super fair launch. Devs have to buy their own coin. Maybe there's a rewards mechanism like Clanker, where if you actually contribute value into the project, you can win with it. And I'm actually so excited for us to like continue refining this model. One person that we've just hired on contract comes from a background of researching on like a grant for Uniswap. Very academic, very talented dev background at Meta, and then self-taught Solidity auditor. And she's going to be focused directly on making our fee capture more efficient. So right now, like we're using a very inefficient fee model, and I think we can like make more money both for ourselves and for creators over longer time periods. And that's, that's how we get better. That's how we get better for someone like Jack or Toady, who, you guys have coins that you've generated some money from. And Trump coin is going to attract some attention to crypto. So in the end, like, as long as we can deliver on our promises to make engaging experiences, it should not feel like a loss, no matter what chain it was launched on or who like won in that kind of trading.
Also, like every chain doesn't have to win at everything either, right? Like, I don't know. Is that true? Like, do we need to win? Do we need to be the chain that the president launches his meme coin on to win?
No, not at all.
I would actually prefer to be the chain that like an Ed Snowden launches on versus the president of the US. But like, I think I just want to see a little.
Ed watches the pod, I'm pretty sure.
Ed, clank with us, brother. I think that that we need to shake up Ethereum. Like there's been a cabal of early Ethereum projects that won huge, and it's like these projects, I don't know. I just don't really think they've done enough yet to make ETH engaging for new users and for traders. And that's an area we can help with.
Yeah. I feel like, Alex, you said this like a while back, but you were like, kind of the EVM kind of looks down on traders, or like has them as like a subclass, citizen. And like, I think Jesse was the one that kind of really sparked that engagement. It's like traders are contributors, they're filling up the block space. And yeah, I think that was probably the biggest L that like, the EVM has taken, but like it's not like it's irrevocable. I think that like ETH had the NFT days, which was great. I think it's really just like ebbs and flows, and they're gonna learn from each other. And I think it's more about the educational aspect that really like will push people from blindly trading to a more transparent method, which is predominantly on EVM and Base, and specifically Clanker.
I think that just one thing to add here, like one of my big theses about Clanker kind of before we launched was that Farcaster and Ethereum in general was missing by thinking of consumer crypto as something that abstracted away the coins. I like the coins. The reason I like the coins is that people are doing stuff with them today. Specifically, they're making money, which allows them to change their lives. I like markets. I think they're powerful. And so when we built Clanker, I was pretty certain, like, we're going to be pro coin. I don't give a shit about what anyone on Farcaster says, because I think that we'll get more users into this place I care a lot about by engaging where crypto users are today, and not just waiting for this like magical new user who wants to like go to a restaurant on the blockchain. Yeah, it's just like kind of like, I was sick of that bullshit. I'm sorry. I love all, everyone, but yeah.
Well, like to Jack's point too, like even Jesse had to publicly go on the TL and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Like speculators are in a sense a type of builder for the ecosystem as well. And I think like that was true of a lot of EVM, or more specifically probably like Ethereum maxi sentiment, is that like speculation is somehow this dirty word. But there's been people like Jacob who like the whole time from Zora, who the whole time have been saying, no, that's not it. Like speculation is the superpower. Speculation is why people come. So if you want people to stay, they have to come first.
When I was broke before I knew about crypto, I joined specifically to make money.
Of course.
When I built Clanker with Jack, making money was specifically one of my goals. Yeah. When JackWyldes launched a coin, I immediately thought, here's an opportunity for Clanker and coins and speculation to support something good for Ethereum, good for Farcaster, whatever. It's like, that is, that's how we can be different than a VC-backed startup in Web 2, is by making creators and founders money without, these traditional models that have existed prior. And so we just need to make that speculative activity generate something positive as well.
Yeah. Not to retroactively show, but like the episode that went live today features Jan from Gadoopy. So that'll be like a week ago now. If you're watching this now, it was a week ago that we put out that episode. But in that episode, we talked about exactly that. Like he comes from an art background, from an NFT background. He had one of the biggest NFT launches in 2021. If you were around back then, shout out Peaceful Groupies. He saw that whole like speculative bubble, but still in his mind, coins were like this dirty thing. And then it was Farcaster and like Clanker specifically that sort of helped him realize like, okay, like there's room for someone who's an artist like me to actually use this technology to get distribution that I wouldn't otherwise get in any other way.
Jan has done it so right in my mind. It's like, I feel like Jan, I saw him trying to mint a lot of like NFT stuff earlier in the year, and thing about coin markets is they're more liquid, and maybe Stoopy is down, right? Maybe that coin is down because the market's Stoopy, but Yawn is not down. Yawn is up from that experience. Yawn has gotten distribution, attention, support. My rainbow logo on my phone is a Yawn art. Like, that's so crazy. And I actually think that attention and that positive impact for him will be reflected on a long time frame in the market. And part of the job there is like him telling that story, us telling that story. That's how we grow, is like creators on the internet wanting to come in and seeing this as a viable model that is an alternative to existing trad models of doing it.
Study Yawn. And I think just like on Yawn in these coins, like these offer like a blank canvas for you to do whatever the fuck you want to build on it. You know, you could just be like, hey, launch a coin. That's it. Or you could, paint a whole project on it or something like that. But like you make it what you want it to be. And I think these coins are just a new medium that's ever evolving. You get good feedback from it. Yeah.
Yeah. A clanker is what you make of it, for sure.
Jack, I know you had a couple other questions you wanted to throw in.
Oh, well, I think we covered most of, throughout this conversation, most of the things that I really wanted to know. I do know that you guys, one, I was kind of blown away during the hackathon, like Alex, excellent orator or a conversationalist and somebody who should be making content himself. Same with Jack. Jack, just one of the dude, just one of the dudes, one of my the guys.
The dogs.
Hanging out with Jack.
A dog.
Yeah, it's a dog right there. That
reminds me of like the Reddit comment where they're like, "Oh, this is one of the songs of all time," or whatever. You know that?
Yeah.
Jack is one of the dudes of all time.
One of the dudes of all time. That's
wow.
That's awesome, and that's like such a powerful team right there. I saw you guys are doing your first Twitter space, or official Twitter space tonight. Or X space, whatever. I'm really excited for it. I will definitely be there.
Please do, man.
I'm getting some chicken wingies at 8:00.
Let's go.
I'm gonna try to come right after the wingies. We'll see.
Well, yeah, if you guys come, we'll bring you up. Like, I think what I found really fun about the ClankHack with you specifically, Jack, is like I quickly realized that the way that you make content seems to be like you really have a process. You like writing. Some people like talking like to a camera live. And so it was kind of fun for me to fill that like asking people questions role, talking to them. And I know that when you release this content, like you'll be talking to, and I can't wait to hear what you write and think and say. And man, I would just say that like my big takeaway from spending time with you is that you have such a good story, and it's so relatable to me because it reminds me of like my aspirations kind of pre-clanker, that just to like do it my way, to make what I want to make. And I really hope that we can continue cooking together. And Toady, I think very similar with you. It's like I've just watched you show up in so many ways for so many people, and I hope that we can all show up for you.
You've got a good voice for the ecosystem too. Like you'll say it straight, and I really respect that. Where some people will like beat around the bush, and be like yeah, but like Toady's like the OG, like give it to me straight. Yeah.
Yeah, that means a lot. I do try to shoot straight from the hip, so which can be hard sometimes because there's always like these existential risks about speaking out. Speaking out about certain things.
There's bad incentives. It's like most people don't have incentive to talk shit about another project because like that's like having access and information in crypto is so valuable. And I don't know.
And what if that project blows up and then it becomes huge and then you're locked out? So yeah, that's the weird incentives that.
or it's like even with us on base, I feel like there's this temptation to get as close as possible to the base team, to Jesse, who's been so wonderfully supportive, to take money from base ventures, whatever. I actually think it's like a little bit important to also remain independent, to have like our just to gain trust with users so they don't see us as like a shill for this big corporation. I love base. I think base is awesome, and I think that both can be possible. But yeah, I think like building trust is incredibly important.
I think that's something they want so badly as well. Like in the last conversation I had with Jesse, that was a big point that I wanted to make sure to include in that video, was like they don't want to be the bottleneck anymore, and they are completely the bottleneck. We need other people who are creating paths for success. We're creating, you guys can be that hand lifting up other creators, lifting up other clankers, lifting up people, just like they have been for me or Toady or anybody in the past, anybody that they share and shout out. We need more people up there like them who are bringing people up with them. I think that's one thing real quick about Toady, is I think that's something he saw really, really early. I wouldn't be here still if it wasn't for Toady. So I think he realized the value in partnership and the value in having, working with somebody, helping somebody grow or cultivate that, cultivating relationships, which is such a cool thing. And I just hope more and more people get into that. And it's not always PvP. Yes, PvP is fun, but we need a little bit more working together before we get to that,
Well, and even PvP markets can be used for positive sum reasons, and that's what Clanker is showing, is that markets are inherently PvP. That's kind of just a reality of life, but there is really so much you can do in positive sum, and like everything I've done in this space over the last 3 years has been an attempt to show that. So yeah, I'm glad it's working for us and for you guys, and I think that's how you show other people that they can do it, right? Because if they come into this space and all they see is people like ripping their throats out over a Trump coin or whatever else, they're not gonna stick around. Why would they stick around? There's no reason to stick around.
And I just want to say one thing, like throughout all the kind of Clanker mania since launch, I know that a lot of like my close friends in the space have made money trading clankers. Toady, you are one of the only people who sent me a gift. You sent me a Christmas gift. You did it unprompted, and it made me feel so fucking good to get that gift. And I just like, it's not I don't expect anything from anyone who's like made money trading on any of our stuff. It's not about that, but like the positive kind of, I know that you took time to think about doing that, and it meant a lot to me. So thanks, man. Shout out you. That was beautiful.
Jack's like, I didn't get anything. Both Jacks.
Alex, I gotta shout out Emily. He sent us, Alex, I gotta give it to you, a Popeyes book.
Dude,
it's over there, but yeah, it's sick.
Go get it. Show it on the pod.
Yeah, it's rad. Hey, I got you a balaclava.
Brother,
that's right.
It's on my desk. If I could dox, I would hold it up.
Dick.
That thing is sweet. Yeah, he's supposedly sending me one too. Emily's been the best.
I love that video. I love the video you made, Jack, where you grabbed the spinach. It was such a jump scare that it was actually Popeye's brand. I was like, whoa!
Yeah,
we don't even have that. We don't even have that brand here. So I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Is that a real brand?
That was a challenge getting that down. I just did it, and it was I like spinach too, but it's just so thick. You can't really like.
Oh my god!
Wait,
rough.
You drank it in the store?
No, I drank it. I just like did a bunch of. I lifted some weights and filmed it, and then drank the Popeyes. And then I talk about being partners, and then also that the video is coming later this week. So
have you ever seen Very Important People, the sketch comedy show? So there's one where they do this where one of the characters puts a bunch of powder in Vic's face, and she has to like continue acting like it's normal. And that's what I'm being reminded of right now. Is like you chugging spinach and then having to act like you're not dying on the inside.
Oh, it was Yeah.
How did I miss this video? I totally
haven't
missed
put it out yet. I just shot it.
Oh,
This is
okay.
alpha.
Yeah. I literally,
Alpha.
I forgot. Then I was like, oh shit, it's 12. I need to go sit down.
Didn't even get a chance to put your pants on.
I did not. I shot the whole video without pants too, which I think got caught a couple of times. So
Yeah,
you're welcome.
we'll cut it. We'll fix it in post.
Yeah.
Meaning we'll make it the thumbnail for the episode. So speaking of alpha, can you guys share anything? What's coming down the pipe?
Oh yeah, I'll drop some alpha on the
Let's
pod.
go.
You guys may have heard of a little app called Twitter.
I've heard of it,
or
yeah.
X.com.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It just like might be worthwhile to follow at Clanker on base. And
Okay.
yeah, just, there might be something coming. That's all I'll say.
We'll take that. I'm
Let's
gonna
go.
take that. I'm gonna put noties on.
I'll take that over a can of Popeye spinach. That's for sure.
Trying to think what else we got.
Oh, we have some gaming partnerships that are coming live
Oh,
soon.
cool.
The one that I can probably talk about is B3. This won't come out right away, right? It'll take a little time. Okay,
next
next week.
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Yeah, I'll get permission before then to talk about it. B3 is a company that is building some pretty sick games on base, and they're also building on their own like L3, and they have a token coming. And
That's Basement, right? Is that Basement?
Yeah, they have a mini clips. It's like a brand called, I think it's basement.xyz, but
Yeah.
they'll be clanking. And I mean, yeah, there's a lot coming. But I would just say, yeah, X is going to be an interesting place for us. You might want to follow Banker too. I think they're doing some pretty cool stuff that we may be involved with.
Big fans of Banker.
Yeah.
Banker's like the only one on the base. Like on the base side in the DeFi, how do you even say that? DeFi category? But it actually makes sense.
Oh, wow. I've actually never heard that. I like it.
I would argue that Clanker is DeFi AI. It's like our entire rewards model is based on one of DeFi's core primitives, which is LP fees. And you'll see a lot more on that.
You got to talk to CoinGecko because I think they don't have you in that category. So I agree. They should put Clanker in that category.
I'll ping them. That shit matters so much, and I never think about it.
For sure. Because right now, the only reason I'm saying this is I saw a deployer posted that they were the only base coin coming up on the DeFi category on CoinGecko at the time.
Cool. I'll get on that. Thanks, Toady.
No worries. All right, I'm glad we were able to chat again. I think it's going to be a fun one to edit because we got like the last conversation in this one, but I think it'll be a good conversation set once we're finished with it.
Yeah, thanks for your flexibility. Always down to yap with you guys. And Jack, I'll text you later. I miss you.
I miss you too. Oh, dude, I gotta show you what happened to my cat.
Yeah, dude.
We had to go get surgery on Sunday because it ended up getting a huge infection. It got in a fight.
Really?
That's why it got. Yeah.
Whoa, dude! This is the cat that you
thought
died?
was dead. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, but he's good. I think he's going to be good. We're going back to the vet on Thursday again to get the tube removed or leave it in for another week. We'll see.
Fuck.
I'll send you a picture. It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, send pic. Praying for your cat.
Thanks, buddy.
Awesome, guys. Well, I'm sure you got some important Clanker business to get back to, so we'll let you do that.
Thanks, guys. Much
Thanks.
love. Talk soon.
Appreciate you guys.
See you guys soon.